I'm Jack Strong, Jack's Fish Tanks TV, and today we're going to be taking a look at the EcoTech Marine MP40 and the brand new EcoTech Marine Radion XR15w Pro Generation 4. Let's start by taking a look at the Generation 4 XR15w Pro. So let's open up the box here. Alright, so right inside the box you have a warranty card, which is good because, I mean, it's around a fish tank, you never know what's going to go wrong. Startup guide, which is always handy with these lights because there's a lot of complicated things that happen with the Radion, which we will go over later in a future video where I show you guys why I went with these lights over any other type of lighting. So, right here, you have the power brick and the cable to power the LED. And then right here is the actual LED light. So let's take it out. Be careful so you don't get it all fingerprinty, because that drives me nuts. Set that off to the side. And right here you have some screws to hang it with, like wire or something like that. You can see they have little eyelets in them. And then you have a cleaning cloth for your LED lights because they get a lot of fingerprints on them really quickly. So it's kind of nice. Alright, so right here is the actual light, and as you guys can see, it's definitely a different design than the last one. It actually has a heat sink right here on the side of it, which you can see goes all the way through the light, so that keeps it a lot cooler than the other ones, which I actually have another one, the Generation 3, right over here. Alright, so here's one of the Generation 3s, where you can see on the sides of it, heat sink doesn't go all the way down. So these stay a lot hotter than these. I was actually measuring temperatures and it's a couple degrees Celsius colder, so that's definitely a pro of the Generation 4 lights. This LED also comes with more color channels, which is better. I think it has cool white, or warm white and cool white now. And it also has something called hyper red, which is a bit less of like a fake red color and more natural looking red. So it definitely looks a lot better when you're running it over your aquarium. Another big thing about this light is the new optic, which is the hemispherical edge illumination optic. And as you guys can see, it almost looks like tiny bubbles on top of the LED, which if I get closer to the camera, you'll be able to see it even better. And in a lot of videos, people are complaining like, oh, the spillover light must be crazy. It's actually nowhere near as bad as it is on the Generation 3s. So if I had to go between these two, I would definitely go with this one still. The spillover light's nowhere near as bad as this one. You can just see it easier, but it's nowhere near as bright because these distribute it so much better. So this here is not a problem at all. So now you guys might be asking, is this light here really worth it for $400? And the answer to that is absolutely. These things here will last you multiple years. You don't need to change out light bulbs, and they just last forever. Even though I just said that basically, I have to mention it again. They work forever. I've had a Generation 3 set running now for close to 3 years now, and I mean they still work perfectly, and they're going to go over my 500-gallon tank with a mix of these also because they work perfect. So I would definitely recommend this to anyone who's looking to get a single puck LED fixture. Alright, so now let's move on to the Vortech MP40. Alright, so here is the Vortech MP40 Quiet Drive, which is their newer version of these, which I have one of the standard drive, like not the quiet drive, MP10s, and I can tell you the MP10 is a lot louder than just one of these MP40s. It's crazy how much better the quiet drive version is. So let's start off here by opening it on up with my scarily dull knife here. There we go. Alright, so when you open it up right here, you have a little startup guide, which is nice because, once again, complicated pump. And you have a bunch of little zip ties and sticky pads that you can attach to your tank to route the wires much easier, which is a really nice feature when it comes to something like this. As you guys probably know if you're watching this video, the Vortech pumps have a dry side and a wet side to the pump so that there's no actual connection between the two pumps. They actually use magnets to spin the pieces differently. So, right here is the wet side of the pump, and as you guys can see, it has a foam cover over it for a pre-filter, or if you have anemones in your tank so you don't want them getting chopped up, and then your anemones will not be chopped up. So it's a really nice feature that the pump comes with, and you can buy replacements on bulkresupply.com. Alright, next up is the dry side of the pump. And as you guys can see, the dry side has 3 screws here to take off this plate, which you won't need to do, but I was just showing that basically. Then here it tells you specifications of the pump. So Vortech propeller pump MP40. So this is not an impeller pump. If you guys actually look, you can see that's definitely propeller, not an impeller. So that's another nice feature about this pump. And you guys can actually buy replacement wet sides also on bulkresupply.com, not just the foam piece. So that's a really, really nice feature about these pumps also. The dry side actually has a couple magnets in it which rotate, which then interact with the magnets inside the wet side, which cause the propeller to spin in the different programs that you can set on this driver right here. So right here, guys, is the MP40 driver. And as you can see, it has LEDs here to tell you the speed of what your pumps are running at. You have a mode button, a set button, and an option/power button. And I know you can use the option button, or I think you can set the option button for a feed mode. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure you can do that still. And you have a knob right here to control pulses, going between modes, and the speed of your pump. Alright, now right here are thickness spacers for different size glass on your tank. So if you guys have a glass that's really thin on your tank, you want to put this so it doesn't crack the glass or do anything weird. So you can see that there just attaches like that to this so that it doesn't break your tank. So yeah, then they come in different sizes, thick, thin, and medium. And right here is what I'll be using on my tank, because my tank's plywood, so I technically really don't even need one. I mainly use it for sound dampening because these things vibrate a lot if you don't put one of these things on it. So you're just going to peel off the back, and it's actually like a really flexible rubber. I'm going to set the pump down, line it up, and stick it right onto the back of the pump. And then I'm going to put my wet side on it, like so. It won't vibrate. And that's what the pump looks like if you put the wet side on it. Alright, so next up, it's a little power cord here, and another power brick, which looks very similar to the ones running the Radion. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be doing an in-depth review on each of these products later on once I have them running on my tank for a couple months. So I want to make sure that I really like these things before, and I kind of know how to use them before I make an entire review on them. So look out for that in the next couple months. Really hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, I'm Jack Strong. This is Jack's Fish Tanks TV, and happy reef keeping.